If you've ever stared at a Canadian sales tax question and frozen because you weren't sure whether HST goes on the debit side or the credit side, this video fixes that in under 4 minutes. Quick context before the numbers. In Canada, when a business sells something, it usually has to charge HST or GST on top of the sale price. That tax isn't revenue, the business is just collecting it on behalf of the government, and owes it back later. That's the core idea that makes this journal entry make sense. You're recording 3 things at once: the cash or receivable coming in, the actual revenue you earned, and the tax liability. Let's use a clean example. A business in Ontario sells a service for $1,000 before tax. Ontario's HST rate is 13%, so the tax is $130, and the customer pays a total of $1,130. Here's the entry. Debit cash, $1,130. Credit revenue, $1,000. Credit HST payable, $130. That's it. Cash goes up on the debit side because you received money. Revenue goes up on the credit side because you earned $1,000, not $1,130, since the tax was never yours. And HST payable goes up on the credit side because it's a liability, money you're holding temporarily for the government. Here's where most students lose marks: recording the full $1,130 as revenue. If you do that, your revenue is overstated, and you've got no liability account showing you owe that $130 to the government at all. Remember, HST is never revenue and it's never an expense on the sales side. It's a pass-through liability until you remit it. The same logic flips when your business pays HST on a purchase. Instead of HST payable, you debit HST receivable, because now the government owes it back to you as an input tax credit. Same concept, opposite direction. To lock this in, 3 accounts. Every time you charge HST on a sale, cash or accounts receivable goes up on the debit side for the full amount including tax. Revenue goes up on the credit side for the pre-tax amount only. And HST payable goes up on the credit side for just the tax portion. If those 3 numbers don't add up to match, you've made an error somewhere in the split. That's the entire logic behind an HST journal entry. Once you see it as 3 accounts instead of one confusing number, it stops being scary. If this helped, subscribing means you won't have to re-Google this at 11 p.m. before your next test. Next video, we're covering payroll journal entries. Same clear, no fluff approach. See you there.